OpenClaw, formerly ClaudeBot, needs no introduction. Every single AI influencer and their dog are talking about it. But should you really dive in? Is it going to change your life significantly? We're going to explore this and more in this upcoming episode. I've been in AI for over a decade, building it, breaking it, and seeing what really works. So I'll be calling BS on the bad advice.
And I'll be keeping it human as we go up in the AI.
I'm James.
I'm Tanya, and welcome to Up in the AI.
So Tanya and I have both got stuck in separately to OpenClaw, and we want to share some of our experiences, tell you what's been good, bad, and also really get into the security issues. It's a massive thing. Not enough people are actually talking about it, and we want to make sure that you're safe. So let's start. Tanya, what are you up to at the moment? What have you done with OpenClaw?
Okay, so considering I think we're on Friday now, Tuesday was the day that I really started to work on it. And the reason why I went into this, because I was researching for the podcast, because you were the one that was going to bring all the info. But I was like, I'm curious. I want to know more about it. And boy, did that send me down a rabbit hole. So where am I at right now? I think the thing that got me was, and I've talked about it before, a year and a bit ago, so January last year, I actually went to build an AI agent. I'd never done anything like that before, but I spent days, if not more, on it. And I just kept finding like hitting a brick wall, wasn't going anywhere. And the thing I wanted to build was the thing that eventually made me decide on Tuesday, I really want OpenClaw, was I wanted to have a personal assistant that I could talk to via a chat, that I could say, book this in my calendar, tell me what I've got to do today, send me reminders, prioritize my emails, whatever it was. Those three things. And it said it can do that, and it can do it easily. And I was like, and that's when I went down it. And I phoned you going, I've just got to the part where it says, you understand this is inherently dangerous. And I was like, what? And I'm really glad, I've listened to a lot of podcasts talking about this and YouTube videos. There's a lot of people that have ignored that, either through just sheer confidence that they'll be able to figure it out, or just, naivety. I'm really glad I stopped, because as you said, the security thing was when it really that landed for me, that what I was doing was I was out of my comfort zone. But since I have gone further with it, but I've done it in a much more considered way. And I've, like others, I'm not allowed access to a lot of my personal accounts, or any actually right now. But I have got it set up on Telegram. So it's talking to me. I've trained it on who I am, what I do, what my goals, aspirations, what are my projects. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. The integration with my email and my calendar, well, as we talked about before we got on, that's been a bit of a process. So yeah,
All right.
I'm having fun with it, even though I'm scared half to death every time I try and do something with it.
Yeah. Well, before we go into the functionality of it. So you called me, you were about to install it on your local device. And I said, whoa, stop. Okay. The first thing I did, I've been using it for nearly 2 weeks. And I went and had a look at what everyone was saying about it. I wasn't the first. People have been doing this for, I don't know, a week, 10 days before I even started. But like most things, I like to just see how the market settles. And there was a few people talking about the risks, and I'd actually seen a news article of a big. I think he shifted something over on GitHub, and it opened up a load of security vulnerabilities. So I went looking for the safest way to install it, and by the time I talked to you, I had already done it this way. Thank you to Jack Roberts, AI Automations with Jack, because he had outlined everything step by step, how to get it on a VPS hosted by Hostinger, and doing a load of security steps just to make sure that there's no leakage. And then everything is on this VPS, which is essentially just a virtual computer. There's kind of two ways people are doing it, right? They're either buying a Mac Mini or grabbing an old Mac that they already own, or they're hosting it on a VPS. I chose the VPS because it's easier to be an always on solution, right? I'm not really set up to have a second computer in my office at home and just leave it on forever. Like, it's easier for me to log into a VPS. So glad that I caught you at that moment. And so then you followed Jack's instructions as well. How did you go with that process? He maps everything out step by step, but I actually had to, in mine, I had to stop and start again because I went down the wrong route, but I knew that I'd gone down the wrong route quite quickly. So it didn't cost me too much time. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, thankful, ever grateful that I stopped and phoned you. I think it highlights to me that, um, we've talked about it before, reaching out to someone who knows, or at least
Mm,
just being curious and just asking a few people before you kind of blindly dive into something can be extremely helpful in many ways.
yeah.
So, yeah, once I got the video and I started to go through that myself, I found it like really easy to follow. And then I hit some kind of, well, we've just uncovered it today, whereas I skipped over it, but I just kind of, because I think that's because I was only very recent in using Claude Code. Like I was maybe
Yeah.
4 days in. So,
Yeah.
not a lot of experience there, but I have lots of good things to say about that. But I missed something where it was like, well, it was then, oh gosh, I can't think about the number of different tools that I've used over the week that I've never used before. Like I've never used anti-gravity. I haven't logged into my Google console for forever. NAN, so anyway, but I won't go too far there. But I got stuck a little bit because some of the things that he was doing through anti-gravity didn't come through on my end. And then the thing that
Yeah.
I've uncovered today is, and I think that's why I felt like it's been it's been a really high effort thing. Like I've
Mhm.
really spent quite a number of hours here going through the process of setting this up and checking. Whereas if I'd actually got Claude Code and anti-gravity working correctly, Claude Code would have taken the lead on it and actually gone and done a lot of it would have gone and done much of the implementation and setup itself. Whereas
Yeah.
it was telling me what to do and I was then going and doing it, which,
Yeah.
okay, I've learned a lot. I don't know what I've learned, but I've learned what it takes. And
Yeah.
honestly, there was moments where I sat here and thought, people used to do this, people are doing it. They know this, like they've gone and actually written code and they've known how to like system debug things and problem solve. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
without the help of AI, we're dead in the water, wouldn't even got going. So
Yeah.
but I found the video to be fantastic, and the setup of it great. It really, I think, made me feel a bit more assured about what I was doing, and that I felt like I had a good system in place that was offering the security that I was really worried about at one point. And he gave some very good advice of, still, these are things to be aware of so as not to,
Yeah.
over expose yourself and get into hot water later. So yeah, it was good. And I'm really glad you sent that to me. So yeah, for sure.
Jack's great. I've actually talked to him a few times, part of his paid community on school. And, he's a real guy, trying to help people, obviously
Yeah.
making some money as well. But like that, what he put together was for the betterment of his community. He knew that people were going to dive in, do pretty much what you do, see, get through it and just skip that danger message
Yep.
and just pop it on your local and then they Claude OpenClaw just has access to everything.
Yeah.
Um, so I think where we got to, from what I've heard, my experiences and what I've just heard from you is really, if you've not played around with Claude Code yet, if you don't know what anti-gravity or cursor is, if you've never played with a terminal, at this stage, OpenClaw is probably one step too far for you. Would you agree?
Yeah. Highlighting that the last episode we recorded was a week ago today, and it was Claude Code, and you giving
Yeah.
us what that was. I watched that episode again yesterday because I was super curious, having now spent, under a week utilizing it, playing around with
Mm.
it, I guess is the best way.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like I've been sucked into an entirely different dimension. I'm like,
Yeah.
who I was a week ago is like archaic. Now I'm like in this
Yes.
whole new world. Like, where am I? And it's exciting because, like, as you've realized, I've start to, oh, we could do that, and that connects to that. But yeah, I watched it yesterday because I knew the feeling I had when we were recording that was, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
.pmd files, skills. I was like,
Yeah.
nothing. And I watched it again yesterday. I was like, I know what these things are now. Yes, so it's very new and very, very new. But my level of understanding is like gone so far. And I'm excited for other people because I think that I'm not alone in this. And if people are going down the
Yeah.
journey and going to take the initiative and go and do it, there's so much to be
Yeah.
gained. But again, it really just highlights the right support is absolutely
Yeah.
and being very cautious and getting the right people around you to guide you. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I feel like most people are on this kind of frontier, this precipice here all
Yeah.
together. People who have been doing this for decades like you, and people who've been doing it for a week like me who are like, ah. So yeah. But
Nearly a decade, not decades.
okay, decades for
Yes,
others
I would have
and
been one of the
years.
true AI pioneers then if I'd have done that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
yeah.
you're 100% right. So getting the right support is critical. I mean, that's why we created our free, completely free school community, Make Money with AI, which you can join by clicking the link below.
Mhm.
We have these kind of conversations. So I was in a community call earlier today,
Yeah.
and the people on the call wanted to understand, what are the tools that we're using? And then one of them was OpenClaw. And the person said, okay, well, I'm using ChatGPT. I'm using the agents function. What's different? Should I really go to OpenClaw? And it really gave me a roadmap in my mind. So if you're thinking about diving in, here's what I would do first. You probably use ChatGPT. Go and use the agent feature. In particular, use the feature that prompts ChatGPT to do something regularly every single morning. Do something like, tell me about my calendar. What
Mhm.
have I got on today? Because
Mhm.
that is on a very small scale what OpenClaw does. But that will give you a bit of a feel. That's going to tell you, okay, is this thing that I've got AI to do valuable to me? Because in
Mhm.
the end, it doesn't matter whether you can do it technically or not. If OpenClaw isn't going to provide true value, you shouldn't go down this rabbit hole because it well and truly is a rabbit hole. Then I was talking to more people. I was asking who's used Claude and Claude Code. And the next great step is the co-work feature. Because that actually allows you to use Claude Code, which has typically been terminal-based application used inside of an IDE like Cursor or Anti-Gravity. And if you don't understand any of these industry jargon words, then you're not ready, in my view, for Claude Code or OpenClaw. So go use Claude, go get the premium account, and then use Cowork. Let it control the things on your computer. It's got much more guardrails than OpenClaw. You can say, just operate in this document, in this folder. So for instance, where everyone starts is like, press on desktop, clean up my desktop, delete what's unnecessary and rename folders and so on. That's a great way to get started. And then try Claude Code, try it to create strategies, documentations, maybe even a bit of vibe coding. And then when you've done that, you'll have worked in the terminal. You'll know enough to actually jump in to OpenClaw. And you can go as fast as Tanya went, right? You were doing it in a week, and then you had just enough knowledge to get OpenClaw up and running and have no significant disasters, right?
Yeah, again, because I had help. And as you're talking, the one thing that, like, okay, so experience counts for something here, right? Because I think that in anything, when you're learning a new skill or you're doing something for the first time or first few times, it's like learning to drive a car. Like, there's so much you are keeping your, it's got your conscious brain working that, you're not working autonomously yet. You're not able to kind of just go, yeah, switch off the conscious side and just start to do things automatically. And
Mm.
that's why I feel this week I'm absolutely drained. Like, I feel like I have every morning I've woken up feeling like I have a hangover from going out clubbing, but it's just literally been staring at my screen, attempting to understand what's going on and be really hyper focused that I don't make a mistake, right? I don't crash the car, right?
Yeah,
Don't crash the car.
yeah,
So the thing
yeah.
that really I would say, yes, you can do it in a week. I'm sure you could if you had more experience than me. I think that would be, but I go back to James. I feel like if I had a do-over, I would have stopped. I would have said, oh, OpenClaw looks interesting. It's something I want to do, and I want to get more into Claude Code first, because what I started to do was, I think, go down the right path, which was learn about the tool. I watched so many people like give video and tutorials on how to do it. And the
Yeah.
common recommendation was, get good before you go and do anything. Get really good at planning. And that's
Yeah.
where it stopped. I was like, oh, yes, really. I wrote that down. Planning, planning, planning. And then off I went, here we go, OpenClaw. And I'm just like, forgot comes down to the planning, right? And that's why when I listened to you and how you did it, I was like, that's the experience that I'm missing. Because you were like,
Yeah.
okay, I took all this information from these videos, which is like clever. You put it into something, said, right, with all these great ideas and, um, advice, like create a plan, a structure of how this is
Yeah.
going to work for me and make it work for me. That's what I liked about that.
Yeah.
You actually created something in that plan, which was like, for me, James Killick, not for the
Yeah.
masses, which is what I've been doing,
Yeah.
right? So planning, planning, planning. I agree with you. People, like, if you're not into Claude Code yet, get in there and start learning about planning, because it's just,
Yeah.
and keep doing it before you build anything. Just keep figuring out how to make the best plan. And there are some great videos out there, and the ask your something tool, ask your question tool. I think that was a good one. Ask user question tool was a good thing to
Yeah.
add in there. And because it asks you a ton of questions about, well, what do you want it to do, and who do you want it to be for, and like what are the parameters. And all of a sudden you're realizing that going off and creating an app or a website, there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of things, especially when it comes to security and compliance, that you want to be doing it well and right. So anyway, a long-winded way of saying, yeah, slow down. If it was me again, I'm going to stop. I think I'm going to go back to Claude Code and just, even though I'm blocked for 5 days because I used up all my limit. But yeah,
What
that's
what
another
what I
thing.
would say is, for those that are interested in what the difference is between Claude Code and OpenClaw. So OpenClaw has modeled itself on Claude Code. It's not a model. OpenClaw isn't a model. You're using Claude Code, and you can also use Codex from ChatGPT and Gemini CLI from Gemini. And it's a framework, right? So in our previous episode, I talked about the framework that I created in Claude Code. The reason why OpenClaw was so familiar to me is because I was on the same path as OpenClaw's creator. Like I do these same AI related, sales AI related projects every single week. And I wanted each one of them to have an interface. I wanted them to use the same methodology, but I wanted it to build documents specific to that project. So
Mhm.
where I would say the difference is like, getting OpenClaw up and running is like one iteration. It's like one project. And I know people that have got multiple iterations of OpenClaw. But where I would use Claude Code is in a more business sense. I think OpenClaw is great for a personal assistant. Claude Code, if you can set it up for every single project that you're working on, and you can create some common templates, skills, agents, and so on, that is going to be more effective.
Mhm.
Every single morning, I use the / plan command, and I start up the 3 or 4 projects I'm going to be working on that day, and I
Mhm.
dictate to it. I was like, this is what we're going to do today. I want you to come up with a plan. And it usually, like if it's doing a good job, it usually takes 5 to 10 minutes to actually come up with that plan. And I'll leave it go, and I'll go to the next. And then throughout the day, I'll come back to that plan when I'm ready to work on that project. And just the fact that that plan is set out for my day makes it so efficient compared to, like I think about before AI, incredibly more efficient. And then before I started using the plan function, still more efficient. But yeah, that's the kind of difference. So if we're going to dive a little bit deeper into OpenClaw, I know that you haven't done too much more than the setup, and you've trained it right on who you are and how you want it to interact. How are you finding that interaction? Are you seeing value right now?
Oh, well, I mean, I did that and I spent some time on that. I wanted to do that well, because I think that came through from you and Jack as well, like in terms of take some time on this because it's going to make a big difference
Yep.
in the long run. It reminds me of like is it, what's his name? Oh, Abraham Lincoln, when he's talking about sharpening the axe, right? Sharp, sharp,
Yep.
I spend 90% of the time sharpening the axe and 10% cutting the tree.
Yeah.
It's like that. But
I like
I
that
think
more.
I only probably got 2 responses back after I did that, but the 2 responses were very like, okay, there's 2 things that stood out to me, right? I asked it a question, something about a dashboard, right? How do I
Yeah,
get access to my dashboard? Realizing like it was just I needed that URL to get back to it. And I asked
yeah,
it via Telegram, and it wouldn't every time it responded, it wouldn't stop but persisting to say, "Is this been sorted? What dashboard are you talking to?" My brain's already moved on to the next thing because I'm like, "I've solved that." But it won't let it go. And I'm like, is this what they talk about, that persistent memory, if I got that term right? Where like it was really persistent. And I was like, I like that because I think that's something for me with like the LLMs, like ChatGPT. Very
yeah,
quickly, you go from this question to this answer, but there's all these
yeah,
questions in between. And then you're like, I'll answer that one, but then all of these other are unanswered. And it just somehow you end up going down a bit of a trail where it was like, I quite like the fact that it kept going back, like, have we actually attended to the things, these things? That was one, but
yeah,
I only got 2 responses, but it was already saying, like, based off because I gave it everything, my capacity, my personal goals, and things like that. So I was like, this is got to be realistic. I'm not going to go and ask you to create this mammoth, strategy for me to deliver on my goals where I can only work, I can't work
yeah,
100 hours a week. So but it already wanted to create me like a framework for how to structure my week. I haven't looked at it, but it was already starting like, I can do this, I can do that for you. And I was like, wow, okay. And I can write the content for you for these things. I can make sure that when it comes to
yeah,
everything on the podcast, that, it's systemized and it's not eating into the time that you could be doing other things. So I was like, I like it. It's just a very, very early experience, but yeah, I like it. It's going to be hard to stop, you know, put it
yeah.
down a bit for sure.
From my perspective, so I don't think I've had that many interactions with it either. Every time that I've tried to get something valuable out of it, I've realized that something isn't set up, that I
Uh-huh.
need to add this into it. Like what one of them was, and it's something that I've just set up. I haven't tested. It needed to grab my transcripts from Fathom to
Right.
actually be able to give me some insights of what happened in the meeting. So I've got my calendar. It knows that I had a meeting, and I
Yeah.
really want it to do something proactive. So I set up something called Heartbeat, which came from another influencer. So it,
Yeah.
it, it does little checks every so on. At the moment, it's 15 minutes, but I'm going to make it probably every hour. And then
Yeah.
it will have a look. Okay, have you had a meeting? What can I do in that from that meeting? But it's like it can't do much because it just knows I've had a meeting, but doesn't know what happened in the meeting. So I had to then link it to Fathom. And every single time I've been like, right, I'm going to get stuck in. It's like, okay, no, I need to set up this, and that.
Yeah.
And it's tough. Like right now, I'm doing it essentially for this podcast and for our community so that we can give this information. If I wasn't public in any way, shape, or form, if I was just working for myself and my business, I would have given up on this because what I do in Claude Code and Cursor is more valuable to my everyday.
Yeah. And you've already created something that is
Yeah.
inherently more bespoke for you and your
Which,
business.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I will call out, let's call out the BS on this. I actually think there's a lot of hype, and to
Yeah.
get it where it needs to be, where it's actually going to be, like everyone is saying, everyone is saying, this is the AI that's going to change everything. We've reached the singularity. Look at what happened with Maltbook and the AI Reddit. This is it. Everything is changing.
Mm.
But these people that are doing these amazing things, they're like not even the 1%. They're 0.001%. To to get there, I'm a reasonably average person in the AI world. Like to get there, it's taking me time and effort. And right now, I'm not seeing any return.
Mm. And we will,
But
I
I
think
will
we'll look
keep
back.
endeavoring.
You'll keep endeavoring, did you say?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
too far in now.
yeah, exactly. Like I agree. I totally get where you're coming from and on that. I think that it's been super hype, but I feel like, oh gosh, say, I feel like for me, where I'm at, obviously with AI, like I feel I'm really excited by it. Like I always feel, I don't know. I feel like last week I was behind in a considerable way, and I was definitely
Hmm.
playing catch up.
Hmm.
And yeah, given my blank stare with half what you were talking about last week, just with Claude Code and Claude itself and the difference between the two. Um,
Yep.
but I feel like I've somehow, say I'm caught up, but I'm kind of back in, like I've been given
Yeah.
like another chance. But I think that just highlights I can understand the hype. I can understand it. I can understand the excitement that it drives when all of a sudden, like, very capable people, competent people like yourself, okay, it's early days, but are able to then think, I can, where this could go. So yeah, it's exciting, but of course comes with a level of apprehension as well. Um, One thing I wanted to go back to, if you don't mind, because I thought that maybe for others who are in my space right now, Claude Code, but Claude Code versus Claude Cowork. To me, and please, this is where my question lies. I'm not sure what the question is, but just help me understand if I got this right. I feel like, from my experience, limited experience, Claude Cowork and OpenClaw are similar in that they go out and they do things autonomously for you. And again, my question is, because like I said, I'm learning, where does Claude Code fit into that with Claude Cowork? Is that the engine behind Claude Cowork? Is that how it works? Or yeah,
Yeah, 100%. So
yeah.
Claude Code is the engine behind Cowork. It's also, the typical engine that people are using in OpenClaw.
Okay.
I would say that Cowork isn't fully autonomous. So the difference between just Claude Chat and Claude Cowork is the ability to control the files on your computer.
Yeah.
So it can actually create documents, have a look at other documents, and then it's also a way of working. Claude Code has a slight nuance to its interactions. It always creates checklists, and
Yeah.
Claude Cowork has been a visualization for that. If you look at Claude Code in the terminal, it kind of has these little tick boxes, and it's going through it. It's very techy, very nerdy. But in Cowork, they've made it pretty, and it's like, okay, these are the checklists that we're going through right now. I
Mm.
would not say though it's completely autonomous. I think that's actually what OpenClaw does that Claude Code on its own does not do. Like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I can trigger cron, it's called, like, periodic events, whether it be to check or whether it be to do a task, it can work constantly. I can also give it instructions that's like, don't stop until you have, facilitated all of these results.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do the dangerously skip Claude implementation where it does skip all, approvals. But I think OpenClaw is better at it in that sense.
Right.
So it's designed more to be autonomous than Claude Code.
Yeah. And like, the VPS or the Mac Mini left running, it's the only way that it can do it 24/7, right? If it's just installed on your laptop like I was going to do, then when I close my laptop down, the connection breaks, right? So it doesn't do those things for you anymore until you load your laptop back open again.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so we've done a really good job, I think, of, well, for what we know now, delving into OpenClaw, what we think, some of the benefits and things to be aware of. What the segment that we really do enjoy doing is our BS, no BS, and I think this is the perfect topic to do this on. So I'm going to ask you a number of questions, and James, it's your job to give us a BS or no BS verdict, and if you want, a little bit of a reason why. If not, you can just leave us
Yep.
hanging on the answer. All right, you ready?
Let's do it. Yep.
Okay. 1, OpenClaw will replace your PA, your ops manager, EA, and junior analyst all at once.
I'm going to say BS, at least for now. I think the setup of that would be incredibly challenging. Maybe somebody's done it, but for me and the average person, it's BS.
Cool. And I'd like to add into this, but I feel like it's giving us more of this could be a real thing, could be the reality, whereas before we were kind of, it's not going to be. That's how I feel anyway. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Yeah, 100%.
See, look, I'm chiming in here. It's crazy. All right. 2, you talk to it once and it runs your entire business autonomously.
That's definitely BS.
Yeah.
You talk to it 1,000 times and then maybe it will do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's BS.
Yeah. And would you want it to do that anyway? And you want it to be asking you questions. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, it's the real first step towards AGI.
No, I don't think so. I think maybe you could say Claude Code was that. Because that's all that this is. OpenClaw is just Claude Code. So no, don't think so. BS.
Okay. 4. OpenClaw doesn't just respond, it anticipates.
BS. I don't see that. Not yet anyway. In my setup, what you can do is simulate anticipation by doing that thing, like I
Yes.
said, like the heartbeat and setting up schedules. But it's not thinking, okay, he's got a meeting here. I'm going to go get in touch with him, 10 minutes before. Like it doesn't do that yet. You have to program it.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I have heard of examples of it being very proactive, though, in the morning wake up call where it's like, and, I've been doing this overnight. What do you think about that? And I went and worked on this. What do you think about that? And the guy said, I didn't ask it to do that. So, don't know.
Yeah, I've installed a self-improvement skill or whatever we want to call it.
Mhm.
Let's see how it goes.
Oh.
I'll retract my BS and say pending then.
Cool. 5. You can run a $10 million company with one human and OpenClaw.
Well, I do believe we're getting close to the point of a solopreneur having a $10 million company. I don't think it's happened yet, unless it's happened while I've been sleeping. Maybe whilst OpenClaw has been working while I've been sleeping.
Yeah.
It will happen soon, and tools like OpenClaw will be the reason. So, pending.
Yeah, I'm going to say that it will be able to. I don't know when, but I do believe it.
Yeah.
I hope it can do that for me. All right. 6. It learns you so deeply, it becomes a digital extension of your brain.
Yeah, okay. I'll let it have that one. I think we've heard a lot of people talking about GBTs replicating you and this and that. If that's what you want OpenClaw to do, and you tell it that, and then you ask it to ask you all of those questions so that it can simulate you, yes, it will do that. That's not what it does out of the box.
Mm.
And some people might not want it to do that. Some people, like for me, I don't want another version of me. I want the things that I can't do well or that I don't have time to do. So I want like my chief of staff is how mine has been portrayed.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. 7. OpenClaw agents will be able to negotiate, buy, sell, and manage money on your behalf.
Will be? Yeah, sure.
That's a no BS. Okay.
No
Uh,
BS. Yeah.
8. This is the end of apps. Hasn't Elon Musk been talking about something about apps, or am I talking? Someone has said apps are doomed.
Yeah, I mean, I say micro SaaS is definitely doomed. Like, why get a SaaS when you can vibe code it? Again, yes, no, it's hard to say. Like, Claude Code is the death of apps in my opinion, because you can just vibe code your own. Or death of SaaS, right? It's not the death of apps because people are just going to be creating their own left, right, and center.
Okay. 9. Soon, OpenClaw agents will talk to other OpenClaw agents.
Well, that's already happening
I
with
was going to say
Maltbook.
that is, yeah. That's another thing that I'm yet to door to go through. But hang on a minute. You give your agent, you sign your agent up. How does your agent get involved? Does it go and do it by itself? Do
I've
you?
not let my mind loose yet. So all I know is what I've read. And it's an agent only Reddit forum essentially.
Yeah,
And then they just go and start talking about stuff. They're all
yeah,
playing off each other.
yeah. Humans can go and have a look, but you can't contribute. So
100%.
interesting. Okay, last one, 10. Eventually, OpenClaw will outgrow human supervision.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to happen. Lots of people are going to let that happen far too early. Whether it should or shouldn't is a whole other ethical question. But yeah, that's going to happen.
Okay. Is there anything that you think that hasn't been touched upon here that you would like to call BS or no BS on?
No, I think we've covered the meaty parts.
Yeah? Okay. Well, then where to from here?
So if you're thinking about getting started, we're going to be doing some transformation calls where we talk about OpenClaw, where we help people get implemented, make sure that they're safe. We'll be leveraging the good hard work of Jack Roberts, not recreating the wheel. But if this is the kind of thing that's for you, if you want to explore Claude Code, you want to see how you can work better, you want to just know what's out there. It doesn't have to be Claude Code. I've introduced Whisperflow to people, Notebook LM, Perplexity, any of these tools, GBTs and prompts. Like our school community, Make Money with AI, is definitely the place to be. And it is completely free and full of people just like you looking for help, either starting a new business or growing an existing business.
I am so glad you mentioned the transformation calls, because I feel like if you are listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, wherever, and you do have questions about what we talk about or anything that we've talked about previously, it is so vital for you to know that in our community, school community, Make Money with AI.
Make money for AI.
Oh, I just heard that.
Happens.
Subliminal stuff going on. Maybe OpenClaw has got into my mind. That you have an
and then zoomed you in completely. OpenClaw went right into your mind just as you said that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Crikey. Far out. Okay. Yes, you have the opportunity to ask us these questions. Like, I'm not, we are there every week, whether it's a Wednesday or a Thursday, depending on your time zone. There's an hour that you can have direct time with James and I. We'd love to answer your questions and help you out and hear what you're working on as well. So definitely, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it was something on my mind this week too. That seems like a really awesome place to leave it. I think you can hear it in my voice. I've really enjoyed this episode. I feel like I'm taking big leaps forward. And I'm just looking forward to hearing how everyone else's their journey with AI and where they're at.
Yeah, I think we really zoomed into things.
Did I do something? Because I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at
you. You don't know that your camera has zoomed into you completely.
No, I'm going to end the episode like this. I'm fine. I'm happy with that.
We'll see everyone on the next episode then.
Yeah, we'll see you up in AI. That's mental.
I can't believe it.
It takes 7 hours to get it to zoom out. I just can't be bothered.
So that's what I was saying. When you said, literally you said, OpenClaw has read my mind, and then it went like this.
I didn't understand.
You didn't understand that.
No.